Blog Talk Radio.
This episode of Video Marketing Madness is made possible by the all-new Webinar Jam Studio. That's right, they've added the word studio to the end, and that means that you've got a whole bunch of new features. It's no longer just for webinars. In fact, personally, I think they probably should have just changed the whole name because they've added so many cool things that you can do now. You can actually run all sorts of video marketing campaigns through it, and you'd be shocked at some of the things you could do. I would almost call it a masterminding software more than just a webinar software. And you can learn more and see the bonuses that we have available for this awesome product and save $100 off the regular price right now by heading on over to raisebonuses.com/webinarjamstudio. And on today's show, we have a very special guest that we've actually we've been trying to get this guy on for quite a while. It is the one and only expert on AdWords for video and true views. It's Tommie Powers.
All right, we'll talk.
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.
It's the online marketing radio show, Video Marketing Madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. You can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Video Marketing Madness. Get plenty of useful tips and news of the week, and if you're not getting that stuff in your news feed, just head on over to the landing page and like a couple of posts, and that should take care of it. Ray's Facebook Mastermind group is groups/online video marketers. Get views for your videos and questions answered. We're live Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Join the conversation at 818-369-1423. Ray's video marketing tip of the week is coming up at the end of the show. Tommie Powers is our guest. Hey, Tommie.
Hey, Steve. What's up?
No, not too much. Glad to have you on the show. I remember saying at the Vid Marketing Summit last fall that we needed to have, get you on the show sometime. And
absolutely.
Right. And I talked to Ray. Ray and we spoke briefly before, so that's cool, man. I'm glad you guys have me on, man. Thanks.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I know that Ray was part of the group that was presenting. What was it called? The mastermind group that was up the front, talking in some of the opening sessions.
What they call it, just the like a round table.
Round table. That was the word I was looking for. And so I know he got a chance to meet you there, Tommie. But every time I came up and tried to introduce myself, you had an entourage around you.
Right. Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes, don't it?
So I get up there and, it's like, I don't know. I don't want to wade through about, 10 people here to get to you. So
I have that issue every once in a while. People can't get to me because the entourage, they're always, oh, look, it's Tom Cruise.
Yeah. I have that issue, but it's because I'm invisible.
Yeah.
Especially to young, pretty women, so,
Well, I don't get that often, so it's kind of new to me. I've been kind of playing underground. I don't really like a lot of attention and all of that. I just like to do my thing and make a bunch of money, and nobody got to really know about it. But it is what it is, and I embrace it. And,
well, if you want that entourage feeling once more, or if you're listening and you want to be part of that entourage, well, guess what? Vid Summit is back this year, and it's going to be on August 20th through the 22nd.
Right. Yep.
And I'm going to go, hopefully. My daughter starts college the week after, and I just don't know when move-in is, so I got to find out when.
Steve, you don't move into the University of Phoenix. Just log in.
Hey, she's going to a college with a campus. I was going to say a real college, but University of Phoenix is. I mean, Yeah.
I know it's tough to make fun of University of Phoenix because it is actually a university too. So
yeah, no, it's a good school, but anyhow, and in all seriousness, Tommie did a real good presentation on TrueViews, and it was a lot of great new information. And basically, he just had a lot of people around him asking questions every time I walked by, and that was it. It wasn't it wasn't adoring fans quite so much.
Well, I can't blame them because, you know, I last year I said TrueView is going to be the big thing, and sure enough, it's become huge.
Yeah.
Yep.
At least in our space, you know, in our tiny space, it's huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was expecting too. That's why, you know, I made my mind up to really get in it. You know, about probably over 2.5 years ago now. You know, before they really made the switch to AdWords or video and that whole thing, it was like promoted videos when I was first kind of tinkering around. And then they made like drastic changes like a couple of months, and it was like, okay, gosh, I really got to get this thing figured out because they just changing. And but I knew it was coming. I just knew I was ahead on myself, so I figured I'd get the ball. I get in early, you know, and really get into it. And by the time it heats up, I figured maybe late 2014, 2015. I actually thought it would be a lot bigger than what it is now.
Yeah.
But we're probably looking at 2016 because of Facebook. Facebook going after YouTube is really what's raising the awareness in people's minds right now. Because YouTube has been there and people have ignored YouTube video ads. But now that Facebook is making a run for YouTube, it's making people pay attention to video ads in general.
Well, I tell you what, let's talk more about that once we do
News of the week.
Oh, hold on, I got my email client.
News
Okay,
of the week.
All right, here it is, right? News of the week. Kind of a slow news week. I got like 2 really good stories, and the rest of them are kind of duh. But anyhow, SearchEngineWatch.com. Google searches with near me surged 34 times since 2011. In other words, there's 34 times more searches with near me on the end since 2011, and these are smartphone searches.
Well, I was going to say that, yeah, what that is the smartphones actually put that in for you. You know, like on my iPhone, I'll see that and it'll say, near me.
Yep.
Oh, real? Okay.
So,
yep.
And I don't know, I'm assuming Android probably does a similar thing or the same thing, but I know I do see that, so.
Yep. I see the same thing.
Do you? And you do a lot of AdWords buys, too. I mean, just regular AdWords buys.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you do a lot of pay-per-click in general.
That's all we do.
Yeah.
We don't, if it's free traffic, I don't particularly want to fool with it. I mean, I want to leverage SEO and stuff, but I don't want to do it. So you're somebody else that do that. But we strictly do PPC.
Well, you're a digital media buyer. I mean, that's, so that's what you do.
Hardcore. We come from the hardcore traffic media buying background. Like, 08, 09, hardcore affiliate stuff. That's kind of where I kind of learned my chops. So.
Yeah, I remember that from Bid Marketing Summit. 50% of consumers who conduct local search on their smartphone. Okay, this is some meat for the story. Visit a store within a day. 18% lead to a purchase within a day. And if they don't know where they're going to go eat, they search within an hour of going. 40% of millennials look up information about the food while in the restaurant.
Sound like my wife.
That's amazing to me.
My wife is notorious for that, man. We'll be at a restaurant and she'll be searching about the restaurant we're in on her phone.
Yeah.
I'm like, geez, didn't you do that before we got here? Well, I kind of did, but not really. And now I'm, while we're waiting, let me see, and it's like, wow.
Wait, we must leave now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of old school. We go to Well, I'm in Omaha, Tommy. We got steakhouses, family-owned Italian steakhouses, and there's like a couple of them I go to, and they know me, and I know the waitresses, and I always get the ribeye or the T-bone.
Denny's isn't a local.
Oh, it's not?
They have.
How about Sizzler? I was thinking more Sizzler.
Oh man, that was a good one.
Whoa! I think a ghost just slammed the door in my house.
Oh. Is your new house haunted?
Apparently, I just heard the door slam. So,
Tommy Ray just moved from Morgan, Utah, to
the big city.
To the big city, Los Angeles.
Oh wow! Okay.
No, I'm not really anywhere near Los Angeles. I'm in an exclusive gated upscale community in. No, we're in a probably the largest town I've ever lived in, but. It's called Lake Elsinore. And,
okay.
Riverside County.
Yes, Riverside County. So.
How far from LA?
I go there on Wednesdays, and it takes me about an hour or so if there's no real traffic, and 4 if there is.
Okay. 4. Good grief.
That's an exaggeration, but not much.
You know, Omaha, you can get anywhere you want to go to in 20 minutes. Morgan, Utah, he could get anywhere he wanted to go to in 30 seconds, unless he wanted.
As long as you don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah, as long as you don't want to go anywhere. Yeah. He had to pack a lunch to go to Walmart. But.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
If they don't have it, you don't want it.
You don't want it. I buy all my clothes at Walmart. Okay.
I never would have guessed.
Yeah. Hey, I like these cargo pants and T-shirts. Okay, this is Wall Street Journal, WSJ.com. Google gets into the battery arms race. And they're working on all kinds of lithium and solid state and lithium-ion batteries. And the reason why is because of the Google glasses.
I don't blame them. I hope everybody gets into this. I mean, I think, batteries are a huge, huge growth market, and I think we're going to see a lot of changes in that. I don't know how closely people follow battery technology, but there have been some really, really big breakthroughs over the last month or so.
Right.
Was it
Tesla
aluminum battery? Is that what it was?
Well, Tesla is about to get into the battery marketplace.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, that's right.
Anything Elon Musk is doing, he's 20 years ahead of everybody. So
yep.
He's going
flying into space.
He's going into outer space. Yeah.
Right. He's trying to take men to Mars.
Yeah.
This guy, man, he's inspiring to me though because his philosophy, his mantra is push humanity forward.
Yep.
And it's like, how can it just makes you think when a human being makes a statement like that. It's pretty incredible, and he really believes he can do it. And that's what makes it even more incredible. And so that guy inspires me. I'm very inspired by him.
Well, that's admirable because my mantra is take a nap. Of course, my name is Sleeper.
Hey, take a nap as often as possible.
As often as possible. That's right. That's one advantage of working out of the home. Anyhow, okay, yeah, solid state, thin film batteries can be used in smartphones and other mobile devices that are thinner, bendable, wearable, and even implantable in the human body.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, and on top of that too, one of the exciting things about that is they're talking about charging your entire phone in 5 minutes instead of an hour.
Yeah.
Right.
So, exciting stuff.
Well, and with the glasses, you could have real intensive features like video. If you have the right battery.
I just, I honestly, I just don't see the glasses ever being a huge thing.
Well, and here, okay, now you ready for this one? You ready? For the contact lens, the technology is safer because it doesn't use flammable electrolyte liquid.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, the biggest problem with Google Glass for me is you look like a moron.
Oh, I look like a moron anyhow. So
you look like more of a moron.
I don't even care. I don't even care anymore.
If it looked like a normal pair of sunglasses or something, then that would be fine. But it doesn't. It looks like this bizarre Star Trek.
That's why I like it. That's why I like it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But I got to read this again. Contact lens. It's safer because it doesn't use flammable electrolyte liquid. So can you imagine? Boom! Ow! My eye!
Right.
Well, and that's the other thing too. Yeah, with a lot of these, like I said, the getting away from the lithium batteries, which the lithium batteries. I mean, that was a huge advantage over the alkaline batteries that were existing.
Oh yeah.
And now this, I believe it's aluminum they're using in some of the new batteries, and they're bendable and they're fast and they don't catch fire.
Right.
Which is the problem with lithium, is you see all the time. I had my Galaxy Note in my pocket and it burst into flames and burnt my leg. That kind of a thing, and you won't see that anymore. It just doesn't happen. So
doesn't spontaneous.
Oh, and the other exciting thing. Not only are they smaller, flexible, charge faster, they don't break down.
Uh-huh.
So in other words, we're talking instead of 1,000 cycles, you're talking 50,000 cycles before the battery starts to die or what have you.
Wow.
Very, very exciting stuff.
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't know you were Mr. Battery, Ray.
If I had money, I would be investing in battery technology that people are doing, because I see it's going to be absolutely massive.
Ray the Battery Guy.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, this is from SearchEngineLand.com. Google to sunset their old version of Google Maps.
Yeah, I was reading that this morning, actually. Be interesting to see how they're, what they're planning on doing with that,
Yeah, the new version, it was a preview a year ago. It's kind of rolled out, and they're going to shut down the old version. So, that's basically what this story says, and it is on our the fan page for the radio show if you want to read it. So
nice. Well, I've got some news here too.
Go ahead.
This is kind of more personal news here.
Carrie,
you already know this, but a lot of other people don't. I've become.
Carrie is pregnant. Carrie's pregnant.
No, definitely not. But oh heavens, no. The little dog we got is enough new child for quite a while. No, I've become one of the world's oldest interns.
That's right.
For those of you who don't know and are wondering what the heck I'm talking about, for this very podcast, which you are listening to now, I, Ray the Video Guy, am willing to sacrifice my time and efforts to try and improve your listening experience. What I've done is I've actually started to work with a very large, high-scale, high-end podcasting company, specifically to kind of learn exactly what they do to make their podcasts be, FM radio quality, both in, production and in sound quality and things like that. Technology for Skype, taking calls, all that kind of fun stuff, and kind of learning the ropes of the higher-end tech world for that. And so far, what that's produced is my want and desire for a $2,000 microphone.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see where this leads. Blog Talk Radio isn't too. The sound quality is better than it was.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of that has to do with my better internet connection now too.
That helps. That helps. But if theirs is FM, then ours is AM without all the static, I guess.
Yeah. But it amazes me because our, and I don't want to talk shop too much here, but our biggest issue is, Steve sounds really good because he's the one running the control system.
Right.
But everybody who calls in with Skype, including me and today Tommie or whoever it happens to be, you can see a noticeable decrease in the quality of sound.
Right. And
with these guys, I know, gosh, it sounds like whoever's the guest or whatever is sitting in the studio with them when they're not. I mean, it's that good.
Wow.
And, so that's what I kind of want to learn. And fortunately, the first thing that, and for those of you who don't know, the producer I'm working with is a guy named TJ DeSantis. So there's a shout out to TJ. We'll have to get him on the radio show someday to talk about what he's doing. But, the one thing that he's done is, he said, well, we've got pretty expensive equipment. And I was like, oh, great. So I kind of looked up some of the equipment last night, Steve, and I was actually pleasantly surprised at how inexpensive it actually was. And I think that's only because, when he said that, in my head, I'm thinking $10,000, $20,000 pieces of equipment. And in reality, you can get a nice radio-style board for about $1,000. So.
Well, and I've seen guys that, and by the way, if you've listened to the show lately, it's better. And I know, sometimes the hardest thing to do, Ray, is go back and listen to the show that you've already done. But it's been better. But, I don't otherwise disagree. But what I have looked at, I'm in some podcast mastermind group, and
nice.
I've seen, Facebook. It's a Facebook group, but I've seen some guys that I've heard of, podcasts I listen to that are kind of, famous. I mean, they're big on iTunes and stuff. And one guy showed his studio, and it's a corner of his garage, and it's kind of sectioned off with cardboard. And it looks like DJ mixers from the 70s or something. And, so, I mean, the point is you don't have to spend a ton of money.
No, and I know Jay Moore, the comedian, I know he does it out of his garage like that as well.
Yeah.
And, he's got a pretty good podcast there. And I know, some of the bigger podcasters, some of these guys on Podcast One, like Steve Austin and Chael Sonnen and some of those guys, they're doing it in studios, or if they're not doing it in a studio, there's a studio that's running the show, and they're calling in remotely through Skype or what have you.
Yeah.
You can get away with it. It's just a matter of really learning how to do that and whatnot. And not that we're doing a bad job. I think we're doing a great job. I'd like to not just improve what we're doing, but I really want to learn, because I think there's great potential for us to bring in other podcasters and kind of create a marketing podcast network of sorts, and similar to a Podcast One type deal. But we'll see how that goes.
Nice.
Well, and you're fascinated by that. You've got a real fire to learn that. The reason we went with Blog Talk Radio is it's easy. It's easy, and as I told Ray, on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the highest knowledge that you can have about how to do podcasting, I'm probably at a 4.
And I'm probably at a 3 or a 2. So
so that's and I'm kind of lazy,
And even last night I was having a little chat with Mike Stewart, and he was showing me some amazing podcast stuff now that's run directly through your iPad.
Yeah,
and you can connect high-end mics to the iPad and control it, and you've got like what he referred to, and I don't know if the software does or not, but he referred to it as an entire cart rack inside the iPad. So all of your sound effects and commercial spots and all that kind of stuff is done like the old cart system, where you just pop them in and pretty slick.
Yeah,
pretty slick.
Yeah.
And for those of you not in radio going, what the heck is a cart? Think of it as almost like an 8-track.
Fidelopack, it was actually a 2-track.
Yeah. No, I mean, it looks like an 8-track.
It looks like an 8-track, but it has 7.5, what is it? What is the speed? 17.5 inches IPS that ran in a loop, and the quality was pretty decent. Back in the day, top 40 stations, all the stuff was on a cart, all the music.
Oh yeah, the music, the commercials, and all that. But anyway, we're getting way too.
Well, anyhow,
people are probably falling asleep at this point. So, with that,
I got a couple more.
Oh, you got a couple more. All right, hit us with some more.
And they're really short. Google. Okay, this is from Search Engine Land. Google, Panda, and Penguin lack real-time updates despite Google's past statements. So, Google had given statements that Panda and Penguin anti-spam fighting filters are running constantly.
Yeah.
Now they say it's not real time. There's delays between data pushes. So
go figure.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. And then Microsoft has integrated Skype into Office 365, and the new update for Office 2013 is going to integrate it into Office.
Wonderful.
Right, exactly.
That's under the. I told you it was a slow news week.
Well, and actually, you want to hear something. This will kind of. This isn't necessarily news, but this is kind of an interesting little thing. I was talking with Daryl the other day because I was baffled by something, and unfortunately he was equally baffled, so we haven't figured this out yet.
Daryl leaves.
Yes, Daryl leaves. But this is I had a video that for the last 2 years, more than 2 years, has been right at the top of page 1 of Google for 2 years, right? It's brought in a ton of people. I've built a massive list off of just this video, and it's been real helpful for me. Well, the other day I noticed it was gone. I'm like, oh, man, did it drop off page 1? Am I going to have to put some work into this? I wasn't on page 2. It wasn't on page 3, 4, 5, 10, 12, 20, or anywhere. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? So I go to YouTube. I search it on YouTube. Nothing.
Wow.
No longer number 1 on YouTube or anywhere else. So I search. I'm like, did it get flagged? What's going on here? No, everything's fine. Okay, that's weird. So I go to another web browser that I'm not logged into, and I go to the video itself using the actual URL. And wouldn't you know it, it pops up and says that the user, that would be me, or the uploader, has made this video unavailable in your country.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, my account is a USA account, and I'm looking at it from the USA.
Right, IP, US IP.
Exactly. And I had other people look at the same thing. So that's why it's no longer in search or anything, because it's not watchable in the U.S., and nobody can seem to figure out how that happened, why that happened, or how to change it.
Wow. So has Daryl been able to get through to Google on that, or?
No. As a matter of fact, I've kind of given up on it only because I think it's time to create a new version of that with something else. So we're just going to move forward, but it was just an odd occurrence, and we have no idea why. It's the only video that I somehow magically made only available in, go run away a stand or something. I don't know, but very strange.
That is weird.
That's the strange story of the week.
And now for something completely different.
And now for something completely different. We're going from John Cleese to Tommie Powers. And Tommie is here because he is the YouTube ads expert. And I love YouTube ads, but I am terrible at it. When I say terrible at it, I just mean I don't know all the ins and outs. I actually do quite well with it, but I feel that I am still a novice at it. So I'm excited to have Tommie on here to kind of talk about how all this works and some of the nuances of doing video ads, TrueView ads. And by the way, let's get some terminology straight here, because, man, I'll tell you, I think YouTube and Google are purposely trying to drive everybody crazy.
Yep.
Between promoted videos, TrueView ads, AdWords for video.
AdWords, in display, in stream.
In stream, in display. Would you believe I still have to, every once in a while, look and go, wait a minute, which one's in stream? That's this.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about some of this terminology so that we get a little bit better at that.
So, man, it sounds like I'm coming back through, like it's feeding back in or something.
It sounds okay on our end.
Okay. Sound like I'm hearing myself double.
Yeah, that happens once in a while, unfortunately.
Well.
What'd you say, Steve?
What'd you say, Steve? Okay, go ahead. Go.
No, so what happened is a lot of changes, and now they only. So that's what the confusing thing is, because it's really only 2 names of the ad units, but one of them function in two different ways. So there's really three ways to target people through AdWords for video, but they only give you two names. So you have in-stream and you have in-display.
Right.
But technically with in-display, you can actually target people who are searching YouTube, or you can target people who are watching videos on YouTube. And both of that comes under the in-display umbrella. So it's kind of confusing sometimes. It kind of throws people off. Because really what Google wants you to do, they want you to advertise to people watching and searching all at the same time, which to me, it doesn't make sense. It's just like with the mobile thing that they did. Like you can opt out of smartphones, but you can't get out of tablets without, like you can't, like the tablet and desktop is all together, and you can't separate them. And that sucks because a lot of times when you're running ads, and like us, like I said, we're hardcore media buyers from like I've been doing this 8 years. We track everything, and we can actually send people based on the browser that they're using. We use a browser detection tracking device, so I can technically show people one thing if they're on a mobile, if they're on a tablet, and something else on a desktop. We can see the difference between what converts better or the other. And the fact that we know a lot of times mobile doesn't convert as well, we cannot separate those two. So that like drives me nuts. So Google, to me, it feels like they purposely want to confuse you because the average novice doesn't understand that they should run ads to people who are searching. Only run a campaign like that. Only run a campaign that are people, if you want to target people watching videos, only create a campaign. You should create those separately. And then if you want to hit people in-stream, hit them separately. So what in-stream ads are the little skip ads. If you go to YouTube, you're about to watch a video, the ad comes up, you got to wait 5 seconds to skip. That's an in-stream. So, but they want you to like group all of that stuff together, and you don't want to do that because people that are in-stream ads perform a lot different. Like, there's not an action that creates that ad. So it's interruption marketing at its finest, at its core. Whereas in display ads, the user has to click to initiate seeing your video. But someone that's watching a video is a different frame of mind of someone who's actively searching. So you got these different types of behaviors that people are using, action that they're doing, so you can optimize the experience for that. If they're actively searching, that's one kind of conversation you can have. If they're watching videos, that's another kind of conversation you have because they're in a different frame of mind. If they're just on YouTube because they want to watch cat videos, they're in a different frame of mind, right? And then you're interrupting them. So it's a lot of different behavior that you can do, and that's why we like to separate them out. So that's just kind of some insight on this different model and kind of how we approach it.
Ironically, on that, my Google AdWords girl, the girl at Google who takes care of me there and helps out with things, she actually does it that way too. She has me separate them out.
Okay.
Which I thought was interesting.
Yep. Yeah, you absolutely want to separate them out, man. They perform different.
Now, the other part of this too is the two different types of ads are actually controlled, or at least they were. I don't know if this is still the case or not, by two different entities. Isn't that correct? One is actually controlled by AdWords and the other one by YouTube itself?
I don't think so. I think Google owns YouTube. So I don't know. When you say, you mean they operate as two entities within Google in terms of AdWords and in terms of YouTube?
In terms of, for instance, I believe it's and again, I still have to think of which one's which half the time, but in terms of the in-stream versus the in-display, the in-display, you can get, they will approve almost anything.
Yep.
And the in-stream ads, those are actually approved by the AdWords people who require all sorts of stuff before they show you that. Yeah.
Now that is true. That is true. With in-stream, they have to make sure that you're driving people to a compliant website if you're sending them off of YouTube. So that falls under the regular AdWords policy. So those people do, the same people who would evaluate your Google display or Google search campaign are the same people who do the in-stream. And I believe, maybe you're right, I don't know this for a fact, but I believe you are correct that if you're doing the in-display, which is really like the old promoted posts, the promoted videos, right. Because when that user clicks, it just takes you to their YouTube video. You're driving them to watch your video on YouTube. So I think there's a different group that actually do that because they'll pretty much, unless you got a video that's against their YouTube policy, you can pretty much get anything approved.
And what I've done, Tommie, and I'd love to hear your opinion on this, when it comes to in-stream ads, because of some of those regulations that they have and everything, I've actually used in-display or in-stream ads to drive people just back to either another video or, a longer version of that video, etc., which they always approve, obviously, because, and then I can do whatever shenanigans I want.
Yeah, I call that a trailer marketing technique. So what we do, if there's a video that we really want to promote and keep them on YouTube without doing in-display to it and want to, introduce that to people in stream, we create a trailer version of it, like the movies do. Like you got a 2-hour movie, they cut it down into a 2-minute trailer to get you excited. So that's what we'll do. We'll create a trailer version, typically like a minute, no more than maybe a minute long to get them excited about watching the next video. And then we can link them to that YouTube video, and they'll approve it because you're linking out to YouTube. So it'll get approved all day.
And then, of course, in that video, then you send them to
send them wherever you
non-compliant sites.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's it.
Hey, I'm going to interrupt just for
go for it.
I forgot to do this at the beginning of the show, but if you want to, Tommie, if you want to let folks know you're on the radio, I just put a little something you can put on your Facebook page into your Skype chat there. So totally unrelated to what we're talking about. But
yeah, I actually logged out of everything, just like you told me.
Oh, that's right.
Look at that. He listens. And the guy who turns off his phone when he gets on the airplane, too, I bet.
Yeah, and you don't have to do that either, but I'm just, I'm very OC and AL retentive, so I had to interrupt and tell you that. But, now, I remember at Vid Summit, talking about the in-stream, the display. When you were teaching this at Vid Summit, you had to do here's what I'm going to teach you. Then you taught us. Then you taught us what you taught us. Because it was so confusing for a lot of us in the beginning. But, and then once I got it. But, yeah, we were all kind of – and there are a lot of guys in there that are big YouTubers that, a lot of that stuff was brand new to them last year.
And that's why that presentation I did is different from – probably 99% of the other ones, the stuff that I've done, because I knew that audience was going to be a lot of YouTubers. Most of the time, the audience that I'm talking to are people who are really interested in the direct response component of getting traffic, right? They're not building a YouTube channel per se. They're just interested in how can I siphon the traffic to grow my business, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas a lot of the YouTubers, they don't think that way. They think about, I have this platform that I'm building, I have this channel that I'm building, and I want to leverage advertising to help me with that. Whereas the other guys, you want to get the traffic.
Yeah.
So it's a different conversation. So that's why I kind of really discussed a lot of that stuff about the analytics and the data and the fact that you guys have a gold mine right under your nose, and here's how you actually can leverage a lot of that stuff to use with ads. But I don't really talk about that stuff a lot because unless you understand unless you're in a state of mind of understanding kind of what I'm talking about, they get lost. But I know the YouTubers, I know that the YouTubers understand. You can log in, you can see your analytics, because they're probably already digging into that data in some capacity. They just maybe not thinking about it in terms of how I can apply it with the advertising part of it. And that was what was new to everybody.
Well, the YouTubers are used to the back office. They know everything in the back, where the stuff is in the back office. But yet, you still had to, I mean, there were a lot of basic questions on how to do the analytic, place the buys, do the analytics. You know, it was all really new. And, you know, one of the things that, I don't know if this was in your presentation or somebody else's, but, you know, they said Google's got more money than all the broadcast networks combined. Mm-hmm. And, you know, could there be a day when the Super Bowl is going to be on YouTube? Because they could buy the rights to it, no problem, you know.
Right.
I wouldn't doubt it, and I think the direction they're starting to go now is going in that direction. I often wonder that too with things like Netflix and Hulu. You know, when are they going to do something like that? I mean, they're starting to do their own shows. You know, so I can totally see that in the future.
Yep, that's where they're going, man. That's absolutely where they're going.
And that's what they need to do. You know, that's how Fox got on the map. They bought the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, really, no. The bottom line in this whole game right now is YouTube and Google. I mean, well, Google and YouTube. Google and YouTube is one and the same. So when I say Google, I'm talking about YouTube. Google and Facebook, they're going after the TV dollars. They're going after TV advertising dollars. That's a $70 billion
right.
pool. And when you look at the revenues that Google makes, even though they make a lot of money, even though Facebook make a lot of money, combined they don't make $70 billion. So if these guys can tap into that, I mean, it's going to be lights out in terms of how exponential they can grow. So that's really what the game is, man. That's really what they're going after. That's really, and so when you follow the money, then you'll start understanding why Facebook, because everybody's looking at Facebook like they're going up against YouTube. But really the truth of the matter is not so much they're going up against YouTube, is they're trying to win the game of the TV advertiser. Because whoever wins that game, that's who's going to make the bulk of that revenue. They're going to get the bulk of that. They're going to get the market share. That's who's going to get the main market share. And the guy that gets that main market share, whoever gets it, probably going to dominate it for the next 20, 30 years. So that's really the game that's going down. But people are not, they're not looking at it from that perspective. But that's really what's going on. And so that's why it makes sense for Facebook and Google to do all of these things.
Well, I think another point you made at Vid Summit that was really good is YouTube's got a lot of excess ad capacity right now. Absolutely. Yep. And so you can buy these, you can buy the True Views, the display, in-display, the streaming and in-display, et cetera. AdWords for video, you can buy really cheap right now.
It's going up, though. Have you found that, Tommie, that the prices are increasing lately?
Yep, it's going up. It's absolutely going up. So I've been actually looking for some information about what the actual inventory sale rate is now. You know, because the last study that I actually have is like late 2013. So I mean, we're here almost about to hit middle of 2015. So I'm sure that number, it's not 80%. It's probably lower than that now. That's unsold inventory, but I don't clearly know exactly what it is because I haven't found a study to support. But I think it's close. I think it's more, they're selling more of that inventory, a lot more. And I'm talking about from, 80 to 85% unsold to like 60% unsold. But I don't have any evidence to support that.
And I think it's going to be very difficult for them to track that evidence because so much of it is based on keyword search, and who knows what the heck somebody's going to type in, at any given time. So
right. Yep.
And obviously in-stream is a little bit different. But, to touch back a little bit, when you were talking about, how it was a different presentation because you were talking to a lot of YouTubers, and what struck me on that is, what I'm thinking is it's not so much in my case that that I'm providing, like an entertainment channel and I wanted to monetize it. It was more that in the past, YouTube was the traffic source.
Right.
It was what was used instead of buying ads. You used YouTube to drive traffic to something, and now we're kind of in this next phase where they're making that, and I'm sure it's on purpose. They're making that more difficult to do. Right. So now you kind of have to buy the ads.
Right. Absolutely, I agree with that.
Now the next thing I want to ask you, and this is something that I've speculated on lately a bit, in some conversations that we've had. Google search itself. Are they ever going to sell video ads on Google?
I absolutely believe they will, because
that's what I said too.
Because you got to understand, again, it all goes back to the money, right? You follow the money. Video is going to become the predominant media type on the internet. The reason why there's so much money on TV is because for such a long time, that's where all the eyeballs were.
Right.
As the eyeballs shift, so for the advertising dollars. And as they do that, Google wants to position themselves as best as they can with the assets they have. So if people are actually searching for something and they're revealing the search results and they're showing a video saying that this video is more relevant than anything else that I could pull up for you, it's the number one thing. Go watch that. Absolutely, they're going to create a situation where, well, if they're going to do that for regular content, why wouldn't they do that for their advertisers? Why wouldn't they allow their advertisers to get in front of their traffic? It almost like it would make sense if they don't do it. It's just a matter of time, and I think.
I think so too, and I really hope so. And I was hoping that to hear from an expert like you on that particular subject, because it's what I'm looking forward to. Because I think that changes. I think that changes everything. I think of all the time and effort that a lot of the listeners here. Think of all the time and effort we spend, and even money, trying to get a video to page one, and now you can just pay,
that's
$5 a day.
That's it. That's it. Interesting enough, no one's ever asked me that. So it's interesting that you brought that up. I've never had that conversation with anybody, but it is something that went through my mind, but I've never had anyone that had a conversation because, most everybody is just like, they're not really looking at YouTube in terms of like, they're just looking at it at the surface. And when you follow the money, man, you'll start thinking, your mind will totally shift and you'll be thinking about all of this stuff, and you can only imagine what'll start popping up in your head because you see the money and you know that they're going after TV. So it makes sense. Everything that they do makes so much more sense now. And then you can start predicting kind of what you think they're going to do because they got to continue doing the things they're doing if they want to attract those TV advertising dollars.
I certainly hope they do. I personally, for me, I would love to get into get back more into the business of the video side and not as much the, let's rank the video and let's say,
right.
There's just so much more ambiguity there.
It's hard. It's a hard way to make a living,
Well, it is now. It's getting there just because there's so much. It's like SEO. There's too much uncertainty. You charge somebody $1,500 a month. Well, what if you only make it to page 2? Then they're hating you.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you can say, hey, I'm charging you to make a video because you can now just pay, $500 a month and have it on page 1.
Right.
Well, that's a lot easier of a sell.
Yep.
Sure, a lot less work.
Yep.
So let's hope they definitely go in that direction.
I'd love to be able to do that. Yeah, I mean, and that's really what I know and what I'm interested in. And a lot of the training came from Ray, but it's just optimizing videos, getting them ranked, all the stuff that you have to do. And oh, man, I'd love that.
Well, here's the deal, though. You can do that right now with AdWords for video. YouTube is the second largest search
that's true. That's
behind Google.
Yep.
And what they will allow you, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, Tommie, what's your opinion on this? Because one thing that I've noticed is that when you do run ads on YouTube like that, I've noticed that, and it may be coincidental, it may not be, that those videos do tend to show up on Google more prevalently. And I think that might have to do with their exposure and they're getting more views because they're being paid for. I don't know. I don't think it's chicanery on Google's part saying, oh, this guy's paying, we're gonna help him. But I think that a byproduct of spending the money and getting the traffic and the clicks and all that, I think it helps you get to the top of the search engine as well, top of Google.
So I'm not a video. I don't rank videos. Right. I don't do any of that type of stuff. So, I mean, I have people that I'm talking to. I got a buddy of mine, Jason Potash. I don't know if you know him. I think it's Potash, how you pronounce his last name. But he and I have been in communication because he's very interested in doing the paid advertising to help with the rankings and such. And we've seen, he shared some very interesting things with me because typically when we run in traffic to these videos, they're unlisted videos. We don't want them in the public because not that we're hiding anything, but I don't want to sell that because that's not my expertise. However, I would love to figure out a systematic process to leverage that. So what we focus on is what we're good at. Now, if we started putting public videos and all of this, then our clients and the people that we work with are going to expect that. So I let them know, like, that's not what we do. You have a key performance metric that you want to achieve. That is what we focus on. All of the additional benefits, I don't really do that. However, I do want to get to the point where we can deliver that. So, but absolutely, yes. From what I'm understanding, you can actually, buying the traffic will help you rank faster.
Oh, yeah.
Rank faster, especially when you start targeting people searching and things like that, because those views are they're much more engaging if someone's searching for something rather than someone just, messing around, right? Those people who are actually searching are specifically looking for something. So the likelihood of them actually watching your video and being interested in it is much higher because you're delivering on what they're actively looking for rather than the other way around. You're interrupting them with the in-stream or, you just got like a related video, and you running ads above the related videos and that kind of thing. So that's kind of what I'm, like I said, I'm not personally doing a lot of that stuff, but just in communication with people who are extremely interested in how do I do paid advertising to help me rank better. And that's basically what I shared with Jason and a couple other people. It's like the engagement factor for people searching on YouTube is much higher. You're going to get much more action from those people because they're actively looking for, and if you get in front of them, they're probably more likely to watch more of your video, to potentially like your video, and all of those signals that they count for ranking factors, you're getting that benefit, and then it's going to help you shoot up. And he's saying that he showed me one way. It's like in 5 days, he's like went from 40 to like 3, but then spending like $10 a day, not even a lot of money.
Well, and I've seen that, but here's and this is one of the things in one of my training courses with the videos, and I mentioned this is, in the old days, and I don't want to step too far aside from the ad part of things, but in the old days, people would pay to cheat.
Yes.
They would, I want 10,000 people to watch my video, so I'm going to pay $10 to some website to give me 10,000 views. Right. But they were useless.
Yeah.
Right.
Now you can spend that $10, promote the video, and you're going to get targeted traffic for the same price and likely make money instead of just spending.
And Google is going to love you because you're spending it with them.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I found. I used an example of just a small, affiliate type product, a JVZoo style product, an info product, and I did advertising on YouTube specifically with the purpose of just getting views and getting it to rank better. And I spent $10, but in those 2 days, I made about $300 in sales from the video.
Right.
So you're actually you get the opportunity to get money back instead of just spending it. So it's a great way to go.
Well, and that goes along the lines of a lot of things we've been hearing, along the lines of crowdsourcing, which we talked to Curtis Melanson about, and that is getting people to search on your video using certain keywords and watching the video and interacting with the video, and that's a big signal for Google. Are they looking for for that kind of content? So that's pretty big.
And for those of you listening, if you joined us late, we're here with Tommie Powers, who is a advertising expert when it comes to YouTube and with Google. I did that backwards. Google and with YouTube. I guess it works either way. Advertising, and so we're talking a little bit about some of that TrueView advertising, both in-stream and in display. Now, the next thing I want to ask, Tommie, is, and this is because I've run into some things where people have told me something and I said, whoa, holy cow. What are some of the things people probably have no idea about when it comes to YouTube advertising that they really should know?
Oh, wow, man. Jeez. I don't know. That's a good one. I mean,
that's almost like asking how long is a piece of string.
Wherever you cut it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, man, it's you know, at the end of the day, like for me, it's about, you know, people who are already kind of sold on video and really believe in the medium are the ones who tend to be more successful, even with the advertising part. Because the ones that, like, don't really do a lot of video at all in their business, and now they're trying to do it just because they want to get traffic, and they're not really sold on the medium, they tend to be more likely to not really be able to get the results that they want in a timely fashion, right? Because more than likely they want the traffic, you know, and they want the results from it, you know, in short order, and that's why they're going after it. But what we're finding is, okay, you're already doing video in your business. You're already doing talking head. You already believe in the medium to help you market your message. And those people are more likely to get results. And I don't really know what that is, but that's one thing I want to point out because, you know, if you're not really believing in the medium, I think it'll affect your ability to be successful. And so before you even get into doing the ads, do you really believe in video as a medium to help you do whatever it is you're trying to accomplish? So things that they should know, I mean, it's a lot of little nuances. They're doing a lot of changes. The biggest change as of recently is YouTube cards. And I'm super duper duper excited about that because there are two things that is about to happen with that. Number one, it's going to change the game for mobile YouTube video advertising. We don't traditionally, up till recently, we haven't really done a lot of mobile YouTube video advertising. And the reason why is because it just doesn't perform the same. And it's not, and I don't think it was because of the device, more or less as it was because the platform didn't allow you the proper features to make it so that you can be able to leverage it in the right way. And being in YouTube cards is a step in that direction, so it makes it super exciting. The second part of that is now what YouTube is about to roll out, they're about to change this starting next month, is you no longer will have to buy in-stream ads per view. You can actually have a cost per click. You can actually pay for click actions, and those are very specific. So if you have a YouTube card and you only want to pay when someone clicks it, you can do that. And that's super exciting because for me, I'm a hardcore media buyer. So the one of the largest learning curves with me was how to really create the right type of videos that get the higher view rates and then really get the people to click on them and all of that, because all of that factors into what you're really paying per click. It's not a direct, I'm going to pay you to run my video, and when people click it, I'm going to pay per click. It's more of a, every time you run my video, if someone don't skip it at a certain point, they're going to charge me, regardless if people click or not. So we had to get smart with the science of how to create the video. Well, with this new model, I can throw that out the window almost. Not completely, but pretty much I can say, I can put a video up and I know that I'm only going to pay when people click. The only downside to that, though, is I predict that they're going to create something similar to AdWords quality score, but more in line with what Facebook has now. That's called relevant score. And that is what is going to determine if you pay more or pay less against the same person that's advertising to that person. So it's going to open up a completely new can of worms, because if you got a crappy video and nobody's clicking and nobody's watching and people are complaining or whatever, and people don't want to see that, that's going to mean your relevant score is going to be lower. You're going to have to pay more. So I think that's what I predict coming forward with this new change, because how are they going to level the playing field on the cost per click basis? Well, that's how. And I think they're going to borrow a lot of that relevant score stuff from Facebook, and they're going to bring it to YouTube. But I'm excited about that because, you know, it just adds a new wrinkle. And for me, because I eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff, this is how I make my living. It's my job to know how to do that. And people that are not all the way up to the level I am, I get another opportunity to step up another notch.
Now, how do you think that the new subscription service is going to affect that? You know, if say, you know, 100 million people decide they're going to pay for the ad-free version, how do you think that will affect you as far as running ads and things like that?
That's 100 million people that I ain't got to waste my money on because they weren't going to buy ads. They weren't going to click my ads anyway. They hate ads. You're only going to pay for that to not see ads because you hate them. Some people enjoy seeing ads. Some people, you know what I mean? Like, it's like sitting down to watch TV. Like, you're going to get ads. Or you can do some none-ad. But, I mean, I think most of the people that do that are going to be people who just don't want to see ads. So they're never going to interact with your advertising anyway. So it's less money that you're wasting. That's the way I see it.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's a great answer. I think I like looking at it from that side.
It's like in direct mail. You know, I'm an old direct mailer, Tommy. We never wanted to mail to people that didn't want to get the mail. We'd like to let us know. We'll take you off the list. I mean, we're happy to do that. Yeah.
That's every time that saved me 50 cents or $1, $2, depending on what I'm paying for the mail. That's saving me money because I know you ain't gonna do no dump it anyway. Mm-hmm. So yeah, save me some money.
Now, speaking of the 50 cents or saving $1, you know, a lot of this audience is either they own a local business or they're a marketer that helps local businesses. So if you're a typical plumber, let's say, or a lawyer even in a medium small city, what should you be looking at as far as ad spends for getting local business?
That's you know, I don't really do a lot of local business campaign stuff. That's not really my client target. So
he's too good for that.
That's right. I'm just saying, like, it's, you know, a lot of times the amount of money they want to spend is really not worth the time we have to invest and the amount of work that we have to do. You know, especially from the agency perspective now because. Man, it's 9 of us. I got 9 people now that I work with. I got 2 partners, and you know, at $100 or $200 a day. So you know,
I was thinking in a lot of the cities I'm in, they're probably going to top out at $100 to $200 a week.
Exactly. My point exactly. So I mean,
a lot of those guys are just doing regular old AdWords.
Right.
Right.
Search.
Yeah.
That's where they want to be at. Now they can actually get on YouTube search, but I don't know if people are really searching, you know, the best shop in Douglasville, Georgia on YouTube. They may be doing that on Google. They may be doing it on Google, but I don't know how much. So, I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. Because I'm not doing it. I'm just in my mindset. I don't know if people are actively searching like that for local on YouTube, but we know they absolutely doing it on their mobile device from Google, from their browser, from Safari, from an app that they downloaded or whatever the case may be.
Okay, now this is off topic, but is Douglasville, is that suburban Atlanta? I meant to look it up. Okay, I thought it was. It sounded familiar. Okay. Totally off subject. Our guest is Tommie Powers, pay-per-click media buyer extraordinaire, and you know the answer you just gave that you deal with national accounts didn't surprise me at all because when I saw your presentation and just you know saw you out in Los Angeles, I thought this guy is way beyond everybody else I've met. So and you know that just it's got. When I do open the floodgates, I have the foundation and the infrastructure to handle that, and because it's not you know to date hasn't been my primary business focus because the agency is really kicking our butt. I mean, it's just like a lot has been going on with the growth and us building that or whatever. I've been kind of slow building the Video Ads Academy. But I've been doing a lot of stuff in the background, and we're gearing up
to kind of really get the ball rolling on that. But I do have another training course that's not as much a fire hose as YouTube, because what I learned from my members, though, is like they would always say, Tommie, what's the one thing I should focus on to get the results as quick as possible? And I would always say in-stream. You know, in-stream is where it's at, man. Like, you know, don't get me wrong, I love in-display, but in-stream can work pretty much anybody, because the beauty of in-stream, what I like to do is called placement targeting, placement video placements. So we go out and we find very specific, highly relevant videos, and then we just put our ad in front of them. Because it's not so much that I'm interrupting someone, even though I am, but it's highly likely that the person I'm interrupting is actively looking for or viewing content very related to what my offer is. And so we found a lot of success with that across the board. I mean, literally every project I work on, the potential to make that work is very high. So that's when I'm like, okay, we just need to do in-stream. And so that's how I ended up creating a training about that specifically. Because if you just focus on that, your ability to be successful, you know, is a lot higher, because it can work for pretty much anybody.
Oh,
you know, and then Video Ads Academy.
Small, that's big.
Right. Because Video Ads Academy is like this whole, man, it's a lot of information, you know, and so people just needed somewhere to start.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how that came about. My members kept asking me, and they wanted checklists, and they wanted this, because my first Video Ads Academy, the original course, was just a big brain dump. And it wasn't a course, to be honest. I just dumped out of my head because we were trying to train our team on how to do this stuff.
Oh, okay.
That's really how it came about. So I ended up just doing like a big brain dump that was kind of all over the place at first. Now, that ain't what I released, but originally it was probably like 4 or 5, you know, go-to meetings with my team, and it was just like a huge amount of information. So then we had to create some kind of structure. And then creating the structure, then it was another like semi-brain dump. And that's the original Video Ads Academy. And then from there, instead of being, you know, turned off, I was open to feedback and make improvements, because I knew the original creation was not the ultimate what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure I build the right framework, the right experience, the right infrastructure, and all of that. So I was very open, and I would ask my members a lot. And the over and over question was, where do I start? Man, I love what you're doing. This information is great, you know, but where do I start? And it's just like, okay, I get it. And after that, over and over and over, that's how I ended up creating the in-stream course, you know, which is a part of Video Ads Academy. But I created it so that it's just focus on this, so you can get the ball rolling, get the results, and then you can go work on the other stuff. And then I had a light bulb moment. Wow, I can like actually sell this as a standalone product. So that's kind of what I have out there that's evergreen, that if people buy that, they have the opportunity, because they become a buyer, to upgrade. But this Video Ads Academy out there in and of itself technically is not open.
So if somebody wanted to buy that, the intro course, Ray, do you have an affiliate link on that?
I do not. In fact, this is the first time I heard of that one.
Well,
I hit you up, Ray.
Yeah.
No kidding. No, we'll do that. We'll have to hook up on that.
Yeah, and then Ray, you can you can promote that, because I think that would be a natural sell for you, Ray. I really do.
It'd be a natural buy for me.
It's a natural buy. Yeah, it'd be a natural buy for me too. I'll buy it.
I do need to learn. You know, like I said, I do a lot of it, but I still feel like I know nothing about it when I'm doing it. So, that'll be exciting. So I'll definitely want to get that information from you right afterwards, and we'll put that in the show notes so that everybody can get access to check that out.
Right.
So there we go.
And a bunch of other places too. You could be
Oh yes. I occasionally do an email.
You could send. He does about 10 emails a day.
I heard.
No.
To be honest, about 3 years ago, I was on your list. I don't remember how I got on it, but I was on there. And yeah,
I don't even know if I really had a list 3 years ago. Did I?
Yeah, it had to be about 3 years ago. It had to be. And that was when I first really was like looking at video and video stuff, and not really wanting to rank videos, but just trying to learn more about it, because I knew I wanted to do something with this YouTube advertising, but I needed to get a foundation, just kind of understanding video and all of that, because I come from banner ads and text ads and all of that, and it's like those things are strictly designed to, you know, interrupt what you're doing and make you click. You know what I mean? So I knew that it was a different market, a different medium, a different, science to it or what have you. So I kind of started out before I started even doing the YouTube ads, really understanding video. So I was buying a lot of people's stuff. So I probably bought a course or something from you or something.
Nice.
But it had to be like 3 years ago. It had to be close to 3 years ago. So
you were probably part of a list of about 50 people at that point.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
That's about when you started affiliate, wasn't it, right?
I would say not even yet. I mean, really, it was last year was the first year that I really started to push that and take off with that.
That original course that you did, when was that?
That was probably about 3 years ago, so that was when I probably first started to get a bit of a list going, yeah. Okay. So that's exciting. That's good to know.
Yeah. Yep.
Now I feel big league.
You are, man. You are big league, man. Don't say that.
Well, Tommie, it's been a pleasure having you on here. We really appreciate that, and I will get that link out to everybody. I know personally that this is, I was going to say this is the future, but I mean, really it's the now, and you need to get into it now. So we appreciate you taking the time because I know you're a very, very busy guy right now. And we'll probably, I don't know, we'll see you this summer at the Vid Summit again.
Tentatively, I have agreed to be there, yes.
Excellent. Well,
unless something changes.
Perfect. Yeah. That does happen, but
VidCon, you guys going to VidCon?
I may. I'm not sure yet, to be honest.
I absolutely plan on being there. I really want to get into these YouTubers' mindset, you know, kind of where they operate, because it's just a completely different thinking than my world and where I come from. So I'm not a content creator. I'm not like that. I don't think about that at all. It's just like, get clicked.
You're just a numbers genius.
I'm a numbers data. That's it. It's a numbers game to me, man. That's why I love it. You know, it's just
nice.
Playing the numbers.
Good. Well, excellent. Well, again, thank you for joining us, and we do appreciate that. And I will get that for the show notes, and you guys can check that out. I will be checking it out, so hopefully you will do the same. So it'll be exciting. So there we go.
Do you have time for a tip of the week?
Of course I do.
Okay, well, good. Let's do a tip of the week now. Tip of the week with Ray, the video guy.
Yes, this week's tip of the week has to do with your personal mindset. You know, many of us like to listen to podcasts about mindset or listen to Tony Robbins CDs or whatever it happens to be. But one thing that you can do to improve your mindset is what people have done for generations, and that's journaling. And I don't know how many people still journal these days, but it's something that can really help you to focus and help you to figure out where you've been, where you're going, and how you got there. And we're not talking necessarily, you know, Laura Ingalls style novels here, but I want you to check out a product called 5 Minute Journal. And you can search that up on Google, and you can find it on your app store, 5 Minute Journal. And what it is it's a system that allows you to very easily journal what you're going to do that day, what you accomplished, and how you felt about it. And it'll give you that positive mindset and that focus that will help you to get things done. And they have the app is very cool. It allows you to, it reminds you in the morning to tell us what you plan on doing and you know, how you're feeling and what you appreciate. So you start the day off appreciating stuff, and then you end the day with what made your day great. And it just allows you to really see where you've been. So there you go. That's my little tip of the week. Check it out, 5 Minute Journal. I believe it's 5minutejournal.com, but you can research that up and search it up on your smartphone. And there you go.
It's an app. Yeah, it's an app. So, yeah,
and it's actually, believe it or not, it's actually a paper journal that you can purchase as well, and it follows the exact same structure. But you can do it on your app, which I do on my phone, or you can actually buy the actual journal and do it with pen and paper.
Well, it's a better habit than meth.
It is. It is.
So
better results in the end too.
Better than drinking. Gave up on a long time ago, mercifully. Okay, well, good. Good deal.
So there you go, another week down, and we want to thank you guys for listening to this show. We want to thank Tommie Powers for joining us, and for Steve Sleeper. I am Ray the Video Guy. Join us next week for another edition of Video Marketing Madness.
Yes, the online marketing radio show, Video Marketing Madness with Ray the Video Guy. I'm Steve Sleeper. Of course, Tommie Powers, our guest today. Today's show made possible by
Webinar Jam Studio. The third word is the important part, studio, because it really is. It's like a video studio. And like I say, it's like a masterminding software now. They've taken what was a really very cool webinar product, a product that gives you a lot more features than certain other well-known big-name products, and they've added a ton more. For instance, if you're doing a mastermind group, let's say you had 50 people in some sort of a training session, you can literally grab anybody who's listening at the time, bring them in, and make them a live guest. So there's just a lot of cool stuff you can do. Very, very cool. So check it out. RayTheVideoGuy.com/WebinarJamStudio.
All right. And like our Facebook page at Facebook.com/VideoMarketingMadness. Get plenty of useful tips and news of the week. Ray's Facebook Mastermind group is groups/online video marketers. Get views for your videos and your questions answered.
Indeed.
And why don't we wrap it up here with the jingle?
He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy.